Today, on Mallorca Insiders, we have the most insider of Mallorca Insiders. Well, at least in the super yacht industry, anyway. The beautiful and lovely Erica Lay, who I don't know how long we've known each other, but I think I remember seeing you many, many years ago at Mood Beach when you were doing the crew show.
Crikey. Yeah,
That's a while ago, huh?
2007, 2008.
Okay, so we go way back.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Erica has Elle Crew Co. and she is a yachting recruitment specialist.
Correct.
Well, you've got me. Erica, let me start with welcome to the studio, and I'm hoping that this isn't going to be the only time we get to talk about this.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll figure it out by the end. You are in the super yacht industry, but as a person who's not in the super yacht industry, my question would be to start off with, what is the super yacht industry? Because if you're not even like touching into it, you don't understand that it maybe even exists.
Yeah, it's a circus. No, it's, I mean, it is exactly what you call it. It's an industry that has flown under the radar, I think, for a lot of people, for most people. It certainly did for me for many years, until fairly recently. And then, I don't even want to say it out loud, but Below Deck happened.
Oh, the
and
telly.
it kind of, it drove it into the mainstream for potentially all the wrong reasons. So it's not a very accurate depiction of what goes on below deck, but it gives you a hint. But obviously, it's like with all reality TV. If you think that that's reality, then you need to give your head a wobble, I would say.
You know, what's the name of there's a girl on Below Deck actually. Now she's an American.
I've never seen it.
She ended up going on to Traitors.
Oh, really?
US Traitors, and I actually met her, and she was very funny in real life and quite smart.
I know a few people who have been on there or, in the past or are on there now, and it still gives me a bit of a giggle.
Yeah.
And the below deck sail, especially because we're a big sailing hub in Mallorca. There's quite a few faces on there. I'm like, it pings up, and it's like, oh, okay then. Oh, you went there. Okie dokie.
Okay.
I guess. But yeah, I mean, going back to your question, the super yacht industry is basically there's hundreds and hundreds of massive yachts. 24 metres and above is a super yacht officially, and I think 100 metres plus is a mega yacht. Actually, or is that a giga? And then there's giga yachts.
Oh.
You know, so it's just silly. It's just, it's a size thing. Yeah,
okay.
I won't go there.
We could go there.
A measuring contest, shall we say. But yeah, and all these luxury vessels run with a crew, a team of people who keep it working, keep it operating, keep it safe. And then you've got the hospitality side, so you've got people doing the service and the cooking and the running around after everyone.
So like floating boutique hotels?
That sort of thing, yeah, or gin palace.
Oh, yeah. My dad was a sailing teacher, and he really despised gin palaces.
Yeah, there's definitely that division. There's the sailors and the motor yacht crew, and it's always a bit of bants between. It's like once you're one side, if you're a sailor and you go to the motor yachting side of the industry, you have officially crossed into the dark side, and it's unlikely you'll be allowed back.
Is it like rugby and football? Like, you know, you either like one or the other?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it. And you've got the sailors saying to the motor yachters, you know, you're not real sailors. You can't call yourself a sailor if you haven't got a mast and a point.
If you haven't been hit in the face with a boom, you are not a sailor.
That's it, exactly, yeah, pretty much. If you've got all your own teeth and fingers, then you're not a sailor.
How did you get into the industry?
I accidentally fell into it. When I came to Mallorca was 2007, and I'd been over in the Caribbean working on charter boats for a dive company, and some of our clients had been super yachts.
So you were a diving instructor then?
I was, yeah, but this was, I mean, to go back another step, this was my year out. I was a construction manager in England for 6 years.
For houses or?
Mostly for retail, high-end retail.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a varied CV.
Yeah. Well, and it was great, and I loved it. But I did my university part-time, and when it came to the end of that, I worked for another year. And then I decided to take a year out because I hadn't done it, and everyone else had done it before uni, and because I'd done work and uni at the same time, like an idiot. But I got sponsored through it, which was great.
That's jammy.
Yeah, that was good. So no debt.
Yeah, good girl.
That was good. That was smart. But so I decided to take a year out and go diving. Did that. And then I'm still on that year out. It just went in another direction, and I never went back to the UK. So, yeah, I ended up working in the Bahamas for this this guy who does a lot of work for movies and shark wrangling and luxury charters, and he does like private dive instruction, or his team does for people, and yachts were involved. And then I came to Mallorca with an old boyfriend at the time, and I just thought I'd be passing through. And it was just one of those, this will do for a bit. I don't know where I'm going next. And you know what it's like with Mallorca. You kind of fall in love with the island almost instantly. So that, I got Mallorcaized, I got Palmerized. And I did a couple of different jobs. I tried going back into project management, worked for oh my God, the dodgiest woman I've ever met in my life. And I was like, okay.
We've probably worked for her as well.
Probably. It's like, this is not for me on here. I can't go back into that unless I go back to the UK. So I thought, well, I'll do some office work. I want to use my brain again. And I started working at a company called Yacht Help Group.
Oh, yeah.
That was run by Phil and Diane at the time. And Diane was incredible to work for. And she said to me when she interviewed me, like, right, what do you want to do? We've got a role in accounts, or we've got a role in recruitment. And I'd done a little bit of recruiting back in the UK on a training scheme when I first left school, and I'd always enjoyed it. So I said, I'll give that a bash. So I went into the recruitment. I started supporting the two women who were working there at the time. And then the company restructured. A big Monaco management company came into it. It all got a bit, crazy and convoluted, and ended up with me setting up a new recruitment company for the Monaco-based agent in Palma. So then I ran Wyco Crew for 6 years.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was my baby. And then that came to just came to a natural end, and I set up El Cruco, my own company, in 2013.
And what's what keeps you in the industry? Is it, because it must be very varied, I guess.
I love it. Yeah, I never get tired of the buzz of getting it right. You know what it's like when you get something right, you get a smug feeling, don't you? It's like, but getting the right person into the right job and everyone's happy is just such a rush for me. And it's like, we did it, we got them, and it might take you might be putting someone forward for lots of different things, and then you find the right fit, and then, the captain's happy, the crew are happy, everyone's happy. But and it's just, the industry is changing every year, and it's watching it, having been an agent for 18 years, it's watching how it's evolved, like how we recruit and where the industry's going. And it's been an interesting ride.
Mallorca is a big hub, I understand, for the yachting industry. Mm-hmm. So you get a lot of people showing up here looking for jobs.
Yes.
Well, I guess they're called greenies.
Yes.
And then there's all the old guard. And it's become, is it hard to break into this industry? Because I always, when I look at, for example, Facebook groups, I do wonder how easy it must be for these people to get their first job.
Yeah, it's not easy. First off, in the old days, during the war, 20 years ago, you could turn up to Palma with your backpack, your flip-flops, a song and a prayer, travelling through and just be like, what's going on here? Do you need any help? Yeah, hop on for a day. And you get some day work, you get some cash in hand on your travels, and maybe you get a job out of it. And now it's a lot more formal because they're trying to make the industry more professional, which is good because it makes it safer.
Yes.
More legislation, more safe. I said safety, but it's important. But now, in order to get a job on a yacht, you need to do a load of courses before you even think about coming to Palma or Antibes in France. To look for work. So you do what's called your STCW, which is basic safety training, 4 days. You have to get a marine medical, which I would advise you do first, so that you have, before you spend money on courses, make sure you're medically fit to work at sea. It's
what would stop you from being medically fit? What's a surprising one?
Oh God, that's a really good one. I would say, if you've got issues with your sight or issues with your hearing, that's a big hindrance. Anything like that is going to, if you say you're colourblind, for example, you will have on your ENG1, which is your marine medical, it will state lookout duties are restricted. So obviously at night you're looking at the boats, they're red and green lights for port and starboard.
Yeah.
And if you're red-green colourblind, that's going to be an issue because you don't know if it's coming or going.
Yeah.
Or, it's... So you'd have to be with someone else. But there's lots of things that can hinder you, but not necessarily stop you. Like if you're... I know I've had some crew say they're diabetic type 1, insulin-dependent diabetics, and they've been told that, oh, yeah, there's no point, you can't work at sea. But that's nonsense. You can, as long as you're managing it, and it's, most type 1 diabetics know how to manage it, especially when they're an adult. But yeah, there's lots of bits and pieces, but there might be something, I don't know, there could be some sort of underlying illness or something that you rely on medication for, and if you miss one, you're in dire straits. But yeah, it's a good question. Actually, I should ask the doctors. But I would imagine something very serious like epilepsy, where you could hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Might rule you out. But yeah.
And tell me a bit more about the STCW, because is that the one where sometimes you see people jumping in the sea wearing big red?
That's exactly the one.
Outfits.
Yeah, looking like the big wee balls, like bobbing around.
Because they do them in Port Andrew. Actually, they do these courses, and like every now and again, you'll see a group of like 15 people jumping into the water, giggling as they do it, and all holding hands and having to kick their legs and stuff. Is that the one?
Yeah, that's sea survival. That's one of the modules, one of the days.
It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they do it in the swimming pool. Sometimes they'll do it in shallow open water. So, but yeah, and then you have to get yourself back into the raft, and it's get yourself into your survival suit, and so you do sea survival training. That's one module. One is first aid. One is firefighting, which is a lot of fun. And then the last one is it's PSSR, so it's Personal Safety and Social Responsibility. And in my opinion, and this is purely opinion, it's a bit naff and it needs to be redone because it's a bit flaky and a bit airy-fairy, and it's like, you could get some really good stuff in here, like mental health.
Yeah.
Especially when you've got these young'uns, 18, 19, 20 years old or old, coming in and giving them, you could give them a real... some good information about looking after yourself, your own mental health, keeping an eye on your crewmates, watching out for signs, things like that. What to do if you're worried about something, or, things like if you suffer a loss or there's a trauma or there's an accident, knowing the right steps to take, like, psychological first aid and that sort of thing. And as you're probably gathering, like, mental health for crew is something I feel very strongly about.
It's really important. I mean, I used to go on sailing holidays with my family, and that 2 weeks stuck on a boat with my family was enough to send me over the edge.
Yeah.
So can you imagine I've been in, when Ollie takes pictures of boats, I've occasionally been along for the ride, or I've been making videos for something for a client. Yeah. I've been in the crew quarters. They're bloody tiny.
Yeah.
Being stuck in, it's not like the actual job, sort of like conditions, you may well, like everyone goes on about the great pay, but the actual living conditions are really dire and tiny. Like you could be stuck in a room with somebody that you don't really like for months and months. How do you manage that?
That's it. And the fact is that, if you have us normal people, land-based people,
we can get out and about.
Yeah, if you have a bad day at work, or someone's, there's Sandra at the coffee machine who's really driving you nuts and she's whining, you can, at the end of 5 o'clock, you leave and you go and you go home, you have a drink somewhere, you go to the gym, you do, you can go for a nice walk. And it's like when you're working with someone 24/7, it's like a pressure cooker. So, especially during the season when you're always on, and, there's no like, everyone finished now. Not unless, if you're in the yard or on the dock, hopefully the captain will be like, right, everyone knock off, clear off, so-and-so's on watch, the rest of you go, do things. But if, on the season when you're cruising around and you've got guests coming and going, you've got to love people, and you're sharing a teeny tiny cabin. You can't swing a cat in there, or let alone a pair of hair straighteners or a phone charger that someone's left on the floor.
Somebody's pinched
on again. And the beds, like the bunks, the beds are tight, so you usually get 2 bunks. Some of the newer boats under new legislation are more roomy, they're more spacious. But some of the older ones, you open it and you just shut that door and it's like a cupboard.
Yeah.
It's like, where do you put things?
Where do you put your pants?
Do you not have shoes and clothes?
Yeah.
Like, oh, heavens. And, the one on the lower bunk is the ladder for the one to get into the top bunk. So it's like, oh, I'm sorry, Dave, I just trod on your fingers, to get up. And sharing a teeny tiny bathroom between two, or potentially between more. And some of them are wet rooms. So that's, you hold the shower over you while you're literally sat on the toilet.
Ew.
It's just all wet. It's all damp all the time. It's not for me. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I did wonder if you'd ever actually worked on a boat. And
I haven't worked on a super yacht. No, I've been on plenty, but no, I've worked on, so these dive charters and things, but thankfully not many overnighters because it's just not for me. But I accept that fully. I'm like, and I applaud, strongly everyone who does it, but no, absolutely not for me.
So do you recruit for both motor and sail?
Yes.
And what are the kind of people that end up who tend to be successful in landing these sorts of jobs? So what personality traits have they got?
Tenacity, resilience, the patience, I think are essential. A good sense of humour. You got to laugh when the world's burning around you. You have to just find the funny side in it. I think people who are naturally positive do very well. Those people who are almost annoying in their upbeatness, it's like, because they're like, come on then, let's just get on and get it done. And, that sort of hard-working attitude of just wanting to achieve things and get things done. But it's interesting because it's a lot of younger people come into the industry, they'll do 1 or 2 years and then just, they're gone. It's like, it's not for me. It is, I wouldn't say it's a very, very hard job, but the conditions would make it feel that way. So
it's a big churn rate.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. And I think things like Below Deck have made out that it's just like you do a bit of work, you party a lot, there's loads of fun stuff and enormous envelopes of tips all the time. And it's like, that's not real life. It's...
But what is for example, a new interior crew member, so a stew I'm going for, what would be the basic starting salary?
For a basic stew, you're looking at about absolute minimum €2.5, but I would say nowadays you probably, if it's a decent boat, that would be a small boat, pottering about Palma, you're looking at 2.8 to 3 really for a. And
then on top of that, are they getting their meals and their uniforms and all their bits and bobs paid for as well?
Everything is paid for, so all your toiletries, all your food and drink, you're fed on board, probably by a high-end chef. Yay. You've got all your snacks and your treats as well. Some boats will have a bit of alcohol for the crew as well when they're not on duty, obviously. Drinking on the job's frowned upon.
Yes.
But so there might be a few beers and things floating around, but the only thing that crew will be paying for is their own private phone bill. But let's face it, everyone's on the Wi-Fi. They're all on Starlink or whatever, so your outgoings are minuscule. And as a crew member, you're working so much and you're away for so much, it's very hard to blow that cash. Because people say, oh, in the grand scheme of things, that's not that much if you compare it to working ashore. And it's like, yeah, but take out rent. Take out your food bill, your electricity bill, your gas bill, your water bill, your drinks. Your €7 matcha tea in the morning, you're all that, and it's like, oh my god! And then you look at the comparison. It's like you can save 90% during the season, And then obviously when you do get off the boat, have a blowout. Buy yourself the new iPhone, buy a new handbag, buy a toy of some description, and go and drink rosé somewhere that you wouldn't do normally.
Oh, let's go out!
Yeah,
I'm in.
Have a party. Let off some steam, and then here we go again.
How many months a year are they doing it for? And is it all year round?
It can be, yeah. Some boats are single season, which means they'll start working here, sort of March, April time, let's say they're a seasonal crew member, so they probably join in, say, April, and that'll be preparation and getting the boat ready and de-winterized, ready for the season, unpacking everything, kitting it all out again.
When you say de-winterized, I mean that we're talking about like everything gets unpacked, cleaned, made nice. Because in the autumn time when it comes back, they pack it all up and
things get packed
to like protect it from humidity or what is it?
Everything. I mean, you look at the furnishings inside a super yacht and they are pristine, you know, and if they're going into a boat yard, you don't want anyone anywhere near that.
No oily fingers, thank you.
No, that's it. I mean, a lot of the time you'll see like owner's cabin will be stuffed full of all the good cushions and things like that, and all the floors will have a covering over it. So, you know, those lovely carpets will not get trashed by, you know, Pedro the electrician wandering through with his boots on, and everything gets covered up and put away and usually inventoried. You know, how many glasses did we break, or you know, how many towels have we still got for the deck, and you know, deck cushions and things. All things will be redone and fixed, repaired, ready for the next season if it's a single season boat. So people start working March, April time, and then the owners usually come, or charters usually start, I'd say around June, May. Sometimes, but you know what it's like here with the weather.
Yeah.
And if you've paid...
June is more...
Yeah. If you've paid hundreds of thousands for a week's charter, you probably go late June or July or August when you're guaranteed crazy hot sun and all the good conditions, rather than gambling and sitting there on a boat looking at the rain in May.
Yeah.
But yeah, so June, July, August, September are the big months, and then October it all dies off again. But the Monaco Yacht Show is happening right now. That started today, so on the 24th of September. So that will go through for the next few days. And then after that, that's kind of the unofficial end of the season.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
The Palma Boat Show opens the season.
Gotcha.
1st of May. And then the Monaco Show closes it. But then there are yachts that will come back, do a quick turnaround, fix everything that's been broken as quickly as they possibly can. And then if they're big enough, they'll go under their own steam across the Caribbean, across the Atlantic to the Caribbean, and then start chartering over there, or owners' trips over there. Some will go up to yards in North Europe. All sorts of different things. Some will go down to the Indian Ocean. Some of them will go down to South America, all sorts, everywhere.
Let's talk about owners, because I love it. I know loads of people that work on boats. Yeah. Loads. I mean, like a lot of captains, stews, pursers, all sorts. You can never get the name of the owner out of anybody.
No, they're
very interesting.
No, there's a mythical beast. They don't exist.
The boss.
Yeah, the boss. Yeah,
the owner, the boss.
Yeah.
Actually, I did get the name of one, but I can't say them. I can't say them out loud.
No, you can't.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
But I love how respectful people are of that. Okay, really protect that person's privacy.
Yeah, probably because they've signed an NDA or a privacy clause in the contract, but also it's a bit of respect, and especially if they're nice people to work for, then that's this is their safe space, their yacht.
They're working for super famous, very rich people.
Yeah, ultra high net wealth individuals.
And also these guys are going to be, or these women as well, are going to be like at risk of all kinds of exploitation, like hostages and kidnap and all kinds of things could happen to them. So
absolutely,
they need to have a lot of security.
That's it, and it's like in the NDAs and all the privacy clauses in a contract. I'll say that 3 times after a glass of wine. Love. It'll say things like, especially nowadays with smartphones, don't tell people or do not post on social media where we are.
Yeah.
And I wrote an article for Dot Walk on this a little while ago, and a lad I spoke to got fired because right at the end of the season, I think they're in Santorini, and it's like iconic, the
beautiful
sunset, beautiful, and you could tell where they were, and he thought he was being really clever. He took a photo at the back of the boat, but what he didn't see was in the stainless bar, it reflected him and the name of the boat on his shirt.
Oh, silly sausage.
And the captain was like, mate, what are you doing? And he's like, it's like, we've got to let you go. It's like, you've told everyone where we are, and it's like #sunset vibes, it's like, oh, you muppet, It's like, just don't do it. Just save them with photos, show your friends and that, but not everything is for Instagram, and especially not when you're on board.
Well, on board those kind of boats, definitely not.
No.
I mean, but the difference between owner trips and charter trips is huge, isn't it?
Well, yeah, owners are using their own vessel, their own boat, as whenever they like. So in theory, you get to know them. You know their likes, their dislikes. You know that you don't interrupt her at this hour of the day because she's doing something, and he's on a business call at this hour, or she's on a business call, or she likes her tea like this at 10 a.m. and it must be
Yeah.
it sounds a bit Downton Abbey.
It does at times.
That sort of thing that you get, and also for the owners, they get to see their familiar faces again. They're coming to it's a holiday home, but it's got, complete privacy from the world. Or they might be entertaining their friends and whatnot. But there's a bit of a safety buffer there because you know what you're getting. Whereas with charters, you get your preference sheet, you get your introduction, from the brokers, hopefully with a little bit of notice. But sometimes it could be very quick, like, we're going into, we're coming into Sardinia, and then we've got a 24-hour turnaround and we're picking up another charter they've just booked.
Wow.
And you could be going from a bunch of frat guys partying, in Senor Frogs in Mexico, to then turning around and picking up a lovely older guy with his grandfather who's brought his children and their children, and it's a nice relaxed family charter. Or, a lady who's just coming on her own with her dog. You just don't know what you're going to get with a charter. But, it's usually with a charter. Well, often with a charter, there's lots of people and there's lots going on.
I mean, and then we can talk about tips.
Yes.
Because, I mean, that is one thing that people outside of the industry kind of think that everyone's getting, like you said, wodges and wodges and wodges of money.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't it be nice?
Yeah.
But, like, there was quite a few crew to share it out between. And it's, I guess there's also a pecking order, is there not?
No.
Oh.
It should not. That should not. I mean, sometimes that does happen, but I would say that's bad practice because everyone in that team has made that charter work. So, you've got there's the captain, obviously, but then the engineer who's quietly behind the scene fixing everything, who's managed to tweak the air conditioning and get that fixed without the principal of the charter knowing it was even broken, and just running around making sure that the internet's on and this is working and that's working. And then you've got the chief stewardess who might be leading service, but without the junior stewardess backing her up, she wouldn't have been able to do her job. And do you know what I mean? It's like they're all cogs in a machine. So when a charter tip comes in, everyone should get an equal share. And when you get that, now I get more than you because I'm more senior. It's like that. That doesn't sit well with me personally.
No, me neither, but I thought that was how it was.
It shouldn't be. I think it's more so everything's split equally, as it should be.
Let's talk about gender roles because we kind of assume stews are female, and deckhands are male, but I definitely have seen female deckhands.
Oh yeah, lots.
I'm not so sure about interior crew, but I guess like instead of a chief stew, you might have a butler.
You might, on some of the really big boats, like the mega yachts, the 100-metre plus, you'd sometimes get a butler who is part of the crew, and that sort of thing. But you generally, you'd just be a chief steward.
Yeah.
Or a steward rather than... But
does that exist?
It does happen, yeah. There are a few males on the interior, but the majority is heavily female-dominated.
Why is that?
Do you know what? I think it is just the old school way. But I mean, I know some great males on the interior who are fabulous, really good at their job. And they struggle a bit to get the jobs, especially on the smaller crew, because you've got crew accommodation laid out, as we said, like sardines, rack 'em and stack 'em. And you might only have one bunk available. It's like, we're looking for a junior stew for this job, for this boat. And it's like, we've got one bunk. That person would be sharing with the female chief stew. So we don't like to do mixed sex cabins because they're so tight, and it's not for everyone. So generally it would be like, that's when you see male due to cabins on Facebook posts, or female due to cabins. But it's usually down to who they're sharing with.
And what about captains? I mean, like, we get lots of male captains, but I can think of 2 female captains that I know. In fact, 1 female captain. Think, hello, Marlies.
Yeah.
I don't know any
Spoke
others.
to her today,
Did
funnily
you?
enough.
How is
Yes.
she?
Yeah, she's at Monaco.
A good girl.
Yeah, she's at the Monaco show today. I was just going to say that, Marlies is a great example of a woman who's risen up through the ranks. And there's quite a lot, I'd say, now. I mean, there's been quite a lot of publicity about women in the wheelhouse and women on deck. And I remember from when I started out in the industry, I mean, I used to work in construction. So I've always been like, come on, girls.
Yes, girl.
I want to see girls in the engine room, girls on deck. Equally, I want to see girls on the interior. I just want girls in the industry. Just come on, women, we can do this. But I used to have, I used to work in an office on the Paseo in Palma as a career agent. And I was kind of on the line. There was a few agents back then, and I'd usually get them after they'd been to visit another crew agent in town. And these female deckhands would go in to see her. I had a box of tissues in my desk.
Oh.
They'd come down to see me and just look like a rabbit in headlights. And I'd be like, come and sit down. What's wrong? Are you okay? And they're like, I don't know. I think, everything I've been working towards, I've just been told I can't do it. And I'm like, right, hang on, let me get the tissues out, right?
Yeah.
What's happened? And these girls would be told, no, we don't have women on deck. And I was just like, it was like, I'm rolling my sleeves up, ready to go up there and have fisticuffs. Like, what do you mean we can't have women on deck? I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm sorry, having some women in the team, oh, it's fantastic. It lowers that testosterone level just enough to make things more pleasant for everyone. Women have a different way of working. So if you've got a bunch of blokes and you throw a woman into the mix to do something, she'll do it differently. And you will get a few of them have the light bulb like, because with men, especially in a role like that that's very physical, they might use brute strength to do something, where the woman might say, okay, that's a little heavy for me. I'll think outside the box and do it this way and make it easier for everyone. And, the amount of chief officers and captains I've had over the years who've said, oh, no, I love having women on deck. They work harder because they're proving themselves that they belong in a male-dominated industry. And I was like, yeah, deja vu, had that. It's exhausting, but you have to prove yourself as a woman in the man's department. But they work harder, they're smarter about it, and they just keep things tidier, more organised. And the women on deck are great, basically, and women on the engine room as well. There's not many women engineers yet. I know a few, but not as many as there should be.
Come on, chicas.
Yeah,
We can do it.
I know.
So the season here is almost done.
Yes.
So if people were looking to get into the industry, what should they do? Should they wait until next year and get their exams done and their courses, or?
Well, there's also a bit of a bonus season now. At the end of the Monaco show, like next week, it picks up again. This week's always notoriously quiet because everybody's talking about the show or going to the show or doing things for the show. And then, so this week goes quiet. And then there's all the peacocking over there goes on. And then next week, it says it's kind of like
How big is your boat?
Yeah. Have you seen mine? It's a whopper. Like, I say, I should Coco. So the end of the season, and then you'll start thinking about, right, what are we doing next? Are we going to downsize a few crew because we're going into the yard and we don't need all these people in these departments? Or maybe the crew are like, yeah, I'm so done with this lot. I'm off. I'm looking at it again. There's just another changeover period. And some yachts will, as I say, be doing some maintenance, packing up and going to the Caribbean or elsewhere for another season of madness. Some will stay here. Some will go up to like Holland or Germany. And it's just another changeover. So our busiest time to look for work. So for green crew, I'd always say like come over March, April, May. Get your stuff done, get your ducks in a row, and then come over March, April, May to look and dock walk and be available in real life in person. But now's also a good time. I mean, if crew are coming off with one season experience, it's the perfect time to look because they can have a good wander around the docks. They've hopefully already made some contacts. They've got a season of experience on their CV, so they're more employable. They'll have references from that work they've done. But yeah, no, it's doable to be green now and get a job. Yeah.
Does it help to have somebody like you, like helping like introduce, or is it something where like if you're that green, totally inexperienced, just go and walk
when
try?
you're completely green, unfortunately, agents are useless to you because we don't get calls for green crew. A yacht is never going to call me up and say, I want someone with no experience. They only call us up when they have a job that they haven't been able to fill themselves, or they don't have the time to do themselves. I mean, it's not unheard of that I could place a green crew member, but it's rare these days with Facebook and social media and dock walking. It's like, get out there, get walking around, meet people, say hello, hand out your CVs, because most of it comes down to, when you're brand new, is personality over your skills and qualification. You have a bit of skills from day working, and maybe you've done some boat stuff at home, maybe you grew up running around the water and you've been on speedboats or sailing, water sports stuff. That's all great. And for the interior crew, maybe they've worked in hotels, restaurants, doing service and cocktails and whatnot. But yeah, more often than not, it's like, how does that personality click with the existing crew? Do we think we can train them? So that's what the face-to-face does. You'll click with people when you meet them or not,
And that's where that comes in, surely. Should we talk about your book?
I'd love to talk.
Can you show me? Pass it over.
Yes,
Pass it over.
Please. Here you go.
Let me read out the back, because Erica not only chats a good chat, she wrote it all down.
I write a good write as well.
It says, new to yachting, moving up the ladder, already running the show. Yeah. This book's for you. Superyacht Life, How to Start, Succeed and Stay Sane is your straight-talking guide for every stage of your yachting career. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
It's packed with practical tips, honest advice, and more than a few laugh-out-loud moments, from landing your first job to plotting your exit without losing your mind or your temper. Whether you're green, mid-level or senior, you'll find no-nonsense insight on crew life, career progression, and staying healthy in a high-pressure world. Mental health, real talk, and zero fluff. Well done.
Thanks.
I mean, that's a lot of pages as well. Is it?
I know. It's huge margins. Huge.
Wow. So, this is a book to grab if you are thinking about getting into the industry.
Yeah, if you're already in the industry, if you're thinking of getting out of the industry. I tried to write it with everyone in mind, which is probably why it's quite thick, at every stage of their career. So there's a section for green crew, and then we move on to, you've got 1 season experience, and then there's a chunk for senior crew, and there's a big chunk on mental health, and there's stuff about, even getting ready to leave the industry, because people get the golden handcuffs because you get the good salaries.
Yeah.
And then it's like...
Absolutely. I've got friends who are like in their 60s who can't afford to leave their yachting jobs.
Yeah.
And they're just going around and around the world.
Yeah,
So
that's it. And it sounds glamorous, but it's like, I just want to go home.
And just turn to page 107. It says,
Yes.
bonus number 2, signs you're definitely a yacht chef.
Yeah.
Number 1, you can dice onions while the boat's healing at 15 degrees and still have better knife skills than most land-based chefs. Yeah. Number 2, you said, how am I supposed to cook that with this at least once a week?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, there's the serious stuff in there, and then it's peppered with these little bonus sections with some silly bits and pieces to hopefully make people smile. And and it's just nice insight.
It's packed with good advice.
Yeah, that was the idea.
A lot of this could be just read that for any lifestyle, really, couldn't it? Like any job. I just flick through, it says body language matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Duh. I mean, I guess, are the people coming into this industry or in this industry, like, you have to be pretty good at surviving some rough situations in order to progress, don't you?
I'd say, you need to have a bit of a thick skin. I would say. But I mean, it's like that in if you're starting any career, if you're going up the corporate ladder, let's say you want to join, I don't know, be an architect, and you're going to be running around making people cups of tea, and you might deal with some miserable old curmudgeon of an architect who's done this 50 years, you know, who knows better than you, and it's like yawn. But yeah, I think you are going to deal with the occasional person who's going to be rude, or maybe they're having a bad day, and it's just like, don't take it personally. It's not you, that's them, you know, that's on them if they're going to be a dick.
Yeah.
But it's I just say, yeah, with any job, you're gonna come up against people that you don't necessarily click with or get on with. So, and it's especially in yachting, as we were saying, that pressure cooker kind of environment, you might not get on that well with, say, the chief mate, and I'm a junior stew, and I think he's a bit of a knob, you know, but he's good at his job. He's just not my person. So it'd be like, okay, so it's just like, well, we need to be professional, and how do we move past that? We're never going to be best friends, but we can work together.
I guess there's the other
harmony.
The other thing is about there's cultural differences, isn't there? Because we're not just talking about English people working in this industry. We have English speaking people. I would say is like how to. Yeah, because majority it's English, the kind of main language that the industry is using. But you know, you've got South Africans, you've got Australians, you've got Americans, you've got people that learn English as their second language. You know, like you've got
Spanish, Italians, French.
So there's a lot of different types of
all over
things going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, you also have to have the whole lost in translation.
Oh, completely.
You know.
There is actually a chapter in the book about diversity. And it's in the end, because after I did the mental health section, which obviously covers more serious topics like dealing with depression and trauma and loss, you know, harassment, assault. And then after that, I was like, whoa, that's heavy. We need to bring things back up again. So the last section is called the positivity section. And that's where we talk about things like diversity. And how great it is that, you know, you might be sharing with a person from a part of the world you've never been to. And the stories I get from yacht crew, it's just so nice when you get like, you know, I worked on this boat and the engineer was from Sri Lanka. And I'm going off to his friend's cousin's surf lodge for the winter. It's amazing. You know, you go off and you discover new things, and people cook different foods and you all get involved. And it's
a bit like, I mean, my daughter went to university last year, and she shared a flat with 8 other people, and they were from all over the world. And so you had like Drona from India, and Joe from China, you know, Miguel from Sevilla, you know, but obviously she already knows about the Spanish person, but like to have all those different backgrounds and people from all over the place really was quite cool. And they were cooking for each other.
So that food must have been amazing.
Like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. But yeah, it's understanding those cultural differences and knowing that the way you said that might be offensive to that person, or the way you deliver that, you know, it's like, oh, okay. And but it's learning and respecting that, you know. Obviously you can't be offended by everything, but if you know, it is, and I think I did cover in the book, like, speak up for people. If somebody if somebody says something that, you know, someone's found offensive for good reason, you know, then don't be afraid to speak up and defend your
back them up.
Mate. Yeah, absolutely. Or you can see that someone's making someone else feel uncomfortable, you know, and that comes down like the bullying and harassment bit. And it's like, you know, if somebody says something, you're like, oh, that's out of line. Speak up, you know, and then it's 2 against 1. And that person could well go, oh God, I'm sorry, I didn't realise. Or, oh, it's just banter. It's like, no, that's not funny. That you're not using that word correctly. That's not banter. That's harassment. Stop it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just put people back in the box and back in line and set some boundaries.
I was every year Ollie and I photograph the Superyacht charities golf event, and every year I meet very new Stu's crew, because they're out on the golf course. They've been taken out, you know, for the day, whatever. And last year I met a bunch of really gorgeous women who were all like on this stall. They were helping a friend of theirs launch a business. And but not mentioning any names, but a couple of the golfers who are all in the yachting industry were quite drunk. And there was a lot of, how do I put this? Suggestive language.
Yeah.
And it was like, and these girls just dealt with it so beautifully. I was like, wow. And after it had finished and these guys had gone, I was like, that was amazing. And they said, yeah, that's nothing. We deal with this all the time. You know, it's like, and they were working as stewardesses on a boat. And so like, it's also like, there's a way that you have to cope with those people in the way that's going to get rid of them ASAP and also keep yourself safe.
Absolutely.
You know, and it was
a sad thing, but it's
impressive how they did it, because I'd have just lost my temper. I was like, wow, guys, that was really amazing.
Yeah.
You know, because I'd have been all like, I would have just barged in there like, you can't say that. You know, but they did it so elegantly and so beautifully. I was like, wow.
It's an art. I think
it
it's
really
a real
was
art
impressive.
Yeah, and I think it's important for especially women to know on board that if a guest acts inappropriately towards them, that the captain's got their back. And, you know, and I've spoken to a number of captains have said to me, like, I will not stand. I've spoken to several captains, male and, you know, obviously the women are going to be like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But the men will say, the male captains have said, I will end a charter for that. They will be off that yacht. I do not have time for that. You know, they will apologise. And that's it. Like, I was like, bravo. It's nice to have, you know, some, because I think sometimes people think that they must sort of kowtow and, you know, doff the caps.
Exactly. Boundaries can be held.
But,
you know, which is what these women did.
Yeah.
I mean,
politely dismissive.
Yeah, it was amazing what they did. I was like, I would like a lesson.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never had that problem myself, but I'm like, you know, they were just like stunning examples of young women. They were fantastic. All of them were gorgeous.
I think
I was impressed.
I think the Gen Z, the younger generation, are way better at setting boundaries than any of us lot were. They're much better at saying, that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have just gone like, okay. And like,
but like when you work in construction, I worked in the theatre, which isn't got it's not like known for being a sexist environment, but it is. You know, like all the stage managers are women, all the electricians are men.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. You know, at the time, all the directors were men. You know, like all the wardrobe mistresses are mistresses. You know, like they're not masters. You know, bit by bit it has changed.
Yeah.
But if there were any wardrobe masters, they were gay.
Yeah.
You know, it was like that.
Yeah.
So there was always that kind of like division, and I think as well, it's like nice to see things crossing over, and like anybody can do what they want.
Yeah, 100%.
But we have to like support and encourage that, huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I've always been pro women on deck since, you know, as I said, since these girls used to turn up in tears, being told that they had to be a stewardess. It's like, you don't have to do anything. You know, get out there and yes, you might find it harder to get started. And I still speak to many women in the industry now who are on the deck side of things, and they still struggle because of this male due to cabins business. But it literally is, if you're on a 30, 40 metre yacht, or 50 metre even, and there's one bunk spare, it's like, you know, and you know, sometimes the captain will say, as long as they're okay to share with a guy, and they'll meet each, you know, and everything's okay, as long as everyone's okay with that, they can do a mixed sex cabin. But ideally speaking, in those tight spaces, it's just easier to have two women or two men. But yeah, or sometimes it's, you know, the woman doesn't feel comfortable sharing with the man. Sometimes the man doesn't feel comfortable sharing with the woman, you know, especially if he's got a partner at home. So, this is my bunkmate. And some women at home would be like, oh, you're away for 2 months with her,
with that,
you know, and it's like
that giraffe,
with this long-legged beauty. Well, you know, it's like, but it shouldn't matter. But and it's like another thing. If you've got a partner who works away for 2 months on one of these floating palaces, it's very easy, or wherever they work away, it's very easy, I would imagine, you know, to get not jealous but feel insecure and to miss them and feel lonely and wonder what they're doing, and they're sharing a cabin with a member of the opposite sex. that might add to, you know, potential
paradise somewhere.
issues. Yeah, to what
Yes.
that you perceive as paradise, when it's like, I'm up to my elbows in human feces because I'm an engineer and the toilet's broken.
Yeah.
There's no paradise about this, you know?
So maybe what we could do next time you come in is we could ask people for their questions, and you could do a Q&A. What do
Oh
you
yeah, I'd
think?
love that. Yeah.
So if you've got any questions for Erica about the yachting industry, getting into the yachting industry in Mallorca, or just generally, you know,
Yachty questions.
yachty questions, send them to us.
Boating with boat face.
We shall let her know in advance, and have her back in.
Rather than put me on the spot. And
Mate,
you go like,
would I? But in the meantime, go and get yourself. When does this book get published?
1st of October on Amazon platforms. There'll be ebooks, paperbacks, and hardbacks.
You're gonna
if
make
you're
it-
fancy.
Are you going to make an audiobook?
Do you know what? I've been thinking about it, and I've been asked to do it.
And you know
and
where
it's
you can
finding
record
the
it?
time. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Just come and read it out here.
yeah. Once
We're already making an
That's it.
audiobook. We're making an audiobook for another book that was written this year. So you're welcome.
Really?
Yes.
Ah,
So the
fantastic.
book is called Superyacht Life, and it's written by Erica Lay, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you buy it because I'm pretty certain it's packed with a lot of good advice.
I hope it is. Yeah, I hope it helps
Congratulations.
people. Thank you. It's been a journey, but I hope it helps people of all levels.
I
It's
love
one of
how
those.
it's organised. It looks fun to read, and it looks like it's got a lot of
Yeah.
wise moments in it as well.
Yeah, there's been a lot of years of in the industry that have gone into this. So and I'm hoping that senior crew can look at it and read back and just sort of remember where they were once when they were green and new, and remember the struggles, and also the struggles of the new crew today, because it's a different industry to when, you know, the older crew started, and hopefully use it as a basis for training, for, you know, professional development, and just growing their team.
I love it. I'm looking at chapter 14, which is working on deck. What do deck crew do? And what you need to join the deck team. We didn't talk about some of this, but like
Yeah.
a background in outdoor work, trade, sailing, water sports is like having the cheat code. You need to be fit, really fit, not gym selfie fit, actual functional strength, stamina, and balance. And then it says like what all the actual jobs they do is, and it's really helpful to understand.
Yeah.
It's like this is the sort of thing that a careers advisor might find
Yeah.
useful as well.
Yeah, and
You
it's
know?
yeah, and I get quite a lot of parents who want to know what's really going on, because I mean, let's face it, in this day and age, it's the bank of mum and dad who are often helping
Big time.
finance the courses
Yes.
and whatnot. So it's just a nice sort of manual or a guidebook to what your kids are going to be doing in the industry, and if you can understand what job they're going into, then maybe you can help them a bit better from, you know, a support point of view when they phone you and go, mum, I've had a rotten day, you know,
Yeah.
because let's face it, it happens.
My daughter wants to work in the Formula One industry, and I have got no idea what that is going to involve. So it'd be great if they could write a book about that next.
Yeah. I'll do some research.
Yeah, if you could just knock that one out
Yeah.
next, please, Erica, that'd be very helpful. I'll be your
on the
first customer.
Yeah.
Well, until next time, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really
It's been
interesting
fun.
to chat, and good luck with the book.
Let's do it with wine next time.
Hey, thanks for listening. Listen, we need your help. But if you don't mind, would you please subscribe wherever you got this podcast? You can find it in most places, Spotify, iTunes, all the rest of them. Just click subscribe, and if you get a chance to leave us a review and you'd like to leave us a good one, we won't stand in your way. And something for you. If you'd like to get our monthly newsletter, then visit our website. That's Mallorca-Mallorca.es. That's Mallorca with a J, Mallorca.es. And follow the link there. And if you'd like to ask us a question, send us a DM to our Facebook or Instagram channels. And wherever you get your podcasts, if you see the show notes, you'll see the links for everything you need. Thanks for listening. See you next time.